The truth about self-discipline is simple. It's the foundation for everything you do in life. You have to be disciplined. Every day I train, every day I push myself, because if you don't stay in shape, you die. Discipline isn't just about fitness, it's about life. Business, family, responsibilities. So I start my day with discipline before anything else begins. And when you shift your mindset, when you welcome discipline instead of resisting it, everything changes. It becomes a pattern, a way of living. I always go the extra inch, and that's what separates ordinary from extraordinary. Night room, dim screen glow, weight of the blanket, the hum of a tired mind. I stared at the ceiling. I used to think discipline was harsh and comfort was kindness, so I chased little comforts. Snooze, scrolling, a late night snack, and I paid for it. Foggy mornings, broken promises, that taste of self-disgust. I heard a line that bothered me for years. You do not rise to motivation, you fall to your standards. I felt quiet shame when I broke my word. I felt rare peace when I kept it. So I ask myself, what if the kindest thing I could do for myself starts here, in the dark, with one boring promise? Tomorrow I will change. I said it again and again. Morning started with a tap on snooze, then a rush, then guilt. My enemies looked small, the phone, the feed, the couch, friends who mocked the effort, the voice that said life is unfair, the label that said I am not a morning person. My old identity spoke loud. I am inconsistent. I need motivation. I am not built like them. One tap, one scroll, one excuse, one more broken promise. The algorithm pulled. My mood ruled. I felt like a thermometer in a storm. I needed anchors, standards that hold when I shake. Be the thermostat, not the thermometer. That line felt heavy. I was not there yet, but I could feel a shift trying to form. I could feel grit start to grow. Enough. Not tomorrow. Tonight we decide. It was past midnight in a small room. Rain ticked the window. The floor felt cool under my feet. I placed my shoes by the door. I set my phone to charge outside the room. I wrote 3 tomorrow standards on a small card. First alarm, stand up. 10 silent pages after I feel tired. 1 extra rep after the minimum. Win tomorrow tonight. That was the plan. I saw the first 5 minutes in my head. Alarm, stand, walk, shoes, open the book or pick up the weight. I clicked the light off. The room sat heavy and quiet. The soft lies came right away. It is raining. You slept late. Start strong on Monday. They sounded kind. They were not. Before dawn the alarm rang. No scroll, no negotiation. Feet to floor, shoes on, breath steady. 1 page, then another, or 1 set, then 1 more. The scoreboard was invisible, until it was not. Noise faded. A small clean pride took its place. Not huge, not loud, just clear. A crack opened in who I thought I was. No applause, no speech, just one honest promise kept in the dark. No one saw it, but I did, and it was enough to change something I had not named. That night I chose a different name for myself. I am the person who keeps promises to myself. Discipline is not punishment. It is protection. It is care. It is future freedom. Discipline is love. Boring builds brilliant. Be the thermostat, not the thermometer. I wrote new non-negotiables. Stand up at the first alarm. Do 1 extra rep after the minimum. 10 pages after I feel tired. 5 minutes of a skill block, no matter what. Small, clear, non-negotiable. Each night I prime the field. I write 3 tomorrow standards. I lay out my gear. I put my phone out of the bedroom. I picture the first 5 minutes. I place a cue I cannot miss. Shoes by the door. A book on the pillow. I choose standards over moods. Identity over feelings. Consistency over intensity. I hold a private rule in my chest. Do 11 when others stop at 10. No need to talk about it. Just do it when it hurts. This is how I treat myself with respect. This is how I build a life I can trust. I do the work, especially when I do not feel like it. Listen, your promise is not just for you. Your steadiness becomes shelter. Your standards are shelter for someone else. Your family, your team, the clients you have not met, the kid who will copy your courage. People are waiting on the other side of your work, so make it simple. Choose 2 non-negotiables for the next 7 mornings. Write 3 standards each night. Keep your phone out of the bedroom. Attention is oxygen. Stop leaking it. Set a minimum that you can keep on your worst day. Then when you can, add the 11th rep. Build slow. Build honest. Go to bed with your word intact. Wake up with quiet power. You do not need more hype. You need one kept promise in the dark. Keep the promise for 7 nights, and on day 8 you will not need to ask who you are. Picture this. Each night you place one small brick in the dark beside your bed. No stage, no speech, just the cool weight in your hand. One soft thud as it settles, then silence. Brick by brick, a wall rises where others see only air. Standards become structure. Boring becomes beautiful. The scoreboard stays invisible, until it does not. Your palms start to roughen. Mental calluses form. You touch the wall and feel a life that can hold. Not perfect. Strong. Built at night when no one watched. When the night gives you the promise, will your hands be ready for the rough work of tomorrow? In the dark, before the alarm, I lay still and listened to rain tap the window. The room held its breath. The bed was warm. The pillow made its case like a clever lawyer. 5 more minutes. 10. I knew the trade. I often sold tomorrow for a little comfort now. Snooze, skip, scroll, each one small, each one heavy. I told myself I needed motivation, but I kept learning the same quiet rule. You do not rise to motivation. You fall to your standards. I stared at the ceiling and asked the soft question. Who am I when it is cold and no one is watching? I got tired of my own promises. I would stop at 10 when 11 was there. I would say later. I would say tomorrow. I would swear I will double it next time. My body felt heavy. My head fogged. The scroll spiral pulled me down the couch. 10 minutes gone. 30. I left the last rep on the floor. I left the last 10 minutes of study in the chair. Quiet shame waited for me in the mirror. I told myself comfort is kindness. That was the lie. Comfort was costing me my self-respect. It took my word and made it soft. I needed something harder. Mental calluses. The skin you build by staying with the rub. Not yet mine, but I could see them. I paused. I bargained. I postponed. Then I heard a small growl under the fear. I am done bargaining. One more breath. One more step. One more honest rep. Dawn came with rain. The street was empty. A long hill waited like a test. My shoes felt heavy with water. My breath hung in the cold air. The laces slapped my ankles. I could taste metal at the back of my tongue. I had planned 5 repeats. At the top of number 5 I looked homeward. Warm shower, dry clothes, go home. One more, the hill whispered. One more, my standard answered. I turned back down. The first steps felt slow, like dragging a rope. Then the burn found my legs. My lungs stung. Rain ran into my eyes. I counted steps under my breath. 10, then 10, then 10. A single car hissed by and was gone. No crowd, no music. Just the rub. That word mattered. Calluses grow on hands when you keep working through the rub. They protect because you stayed with the friction. Mental calluses work the same. You build them when you do not leave the hard moment. You build them when you stop running from the sting. I reached the top and stood in the rain. No fanfare, no record, just a small private raise in my standard. Pain turned into practice. I walked home slow and steady. When I reached the top, I did not cheer. I listened to the rain and heard a word I had never earned before. Ready. It was 2 a.m. When the kitchen spoke, a burst pipe turned the floor into a cold pond. Water crawled under the fridge. Alarms chirped. The phone buzzed on the counter. I felt the shock hit my chest. Then I breathed out. Slow. I found the main and turned it off. I laid towels in a line. I moved cords and pulled the rug. I called for help with a calm voice. My feet were wet. My hands shook a little. But the steps stayed simple. One by one. I had already met panic in practice. In rain. On hills. In the last rep when no one clapped. This was the test the boring work prepared me for. The extra hill. The last 10 minutes. The final set after the burn. I did not need easy. I needed purpose. Boring builds brilliant. Be the thermostat, not the thermometer. Set the room. Hold the line. The scoreboard is invisible until it is not. By dawn the floor was dry. The fix was not perfect, but it was controlled. The night ended. My respect stayed. I made tea and sat in the quiet. I kept the vow under my breath. I do the work, especially when I do not feel like it. Listen. Your life needs one hard rep each day. Simple, clear, on purpose. A hard rep is one task you push past where you want to stop. You choose the edge and move one step beyond. Do it when it hurts a little. Do it when it is boring. Choose one. Wake at the first alarm. Add one extra rep or set. Read 10 silent pages after you feel tired. End your shower with 5 cold minutes. Finish the last interval. Run when it rains. Do one deep focus block with no phone. Discipline is love. This is service to your future self, your family, your craft, your street. Be the person who does 11 when others stop at 10. Make a tally for 7 days straight. Keep it simple. Keep it daily. Let the habit and not hype change you. Do your hard rep today, and in 30 days your calm will be loud. Picture 2 hands in a drafty room. Skin rough. Quiet calluses across the palms. They cup a small, steady flame and guard it from the wind. The warmth presses into the skin. The wax smell is faint and clean. The wind hisses past the walls. The flame does not grow bigger. It does not need to. The calluses do not make light. They make shelter. Discomfort built the shelter. These are the hands of someone who kept their word in the dark. Someone who kept small promises when no one clapped. The wind is not just weather. It is noise, screens, and voices that steal focus. What could your flame become if you guarded it from the draft? At night the room is blue. The phone glows like a little sun. The bed feels soft, but it is the battlefield. Tomorrow is decided here. I blamed the day. I blamed people. I even blamed the algorithm. Then I let the noise write my plans before morning. My thumb scrolls. Guilty comfort. A friend laughs from the feed and calls standards extra. I whisper the truth. I keep running from. You do not rise to motivation. You fall to your standards. There is a heavy peace when I keep my word. Lighter than shame. Heavier than sleep. How much of my life am I giving away before the morning even begins? I tried to fight back, but it was messy. I deleted the app. I re-downloaded it. I promised tomorrow. I broke it. I blamed traffic. I blamed work. I blamed my mood. I blamed unfair rules. I said, I am inconsistent. I said, I need motivation. I said, I deserve this break. Then the feed pulled me under. Endless scroll. Autoplay. Notifications cut my focus into scraps. Attention is oxygen. Stop leaking it. I watched my hours drip like a cracked hose. I blamed. I delayed. I leaked. I blamed. I delayed. My mind felt foggy. The loop kept spinning. Delete. Return. Promise. Break. I stared at the ceiling and heard my breath. I thought of the person I said I want to be. I said it again. Slower this time. No more leaks. No more leaks. No more leaks. It happened on a Tuesday that felt like every Tuesday. Late evening. Back on the pillow. The blue-white light smeared across the ceiling. The weekly screen report slid up. 6 hours, 12 minutes each day. My eyes felt dry, like dust. The room hummed with the old fridge. A ping cut through the quiet. A friend said, "Relax, one more episode, you are no fun." I stared at the message. It sounded small, but it hit me. I could feel the weight of the phone in my hand. It felt heavy for a thing that small. I looked at the numbers again. 6 hours, 12 minutes. Every day. I long pressed the side button. The screen went black. The glow left the room like a tide pulling back. I stood, slow. I walked the phone to the kitchen drawer and set it down. I told myself which apps would go next. I grabbed a pen and a paper pad from the counter. I scribbled 2 time blocks for tomorrow. I wrote clear start and stop times. I wrote 1 win for morning. Clothes ready. Desk cleared. I walked back to the bed with empty hands. It felt wrong for a minute. The silence itched. Then a small, clean breath moved through my chest. Not triumph, just less noise. I laid down and watched the ceiling go plain again. For the first time in months, the room went quiet enough to hear myself, then nothing. The next morning, I drew a line I could not step over. Phone sleeps outside the bedroom. Every night. Notifications off, except true emergencies. Grayscale on. High dopamine apps deleted. Do not disturb on a schedule that guards my focus. 2 deep work blocks, set like stone. A visible plan on my desk. Clear start and stop cues. When it is time, I begin. When it is time, I end. Then I reset the space. Desk cleared. Gear laid out. Be the thermostat, not the thermometer. Discipline is love. Boring builds brilliant. I called the friend who mocked my standards. I set a boundary with respect. I keep people who feed my flame. I release people who do not. No apology, just truth. I chose solitude over validation. I turned off low-value noise and walked away. I felt the pull to check, to please, to explain. I let the pull fade. Standards over moods. Action over talk. Brick over buzz. This was my line in the sand, drawn quiet and firm. My attention belongs to my future. Now I speak to you. Your gift needs your focus. Your family needs your clarity. Your clients, students, patients, they wait on your steady light. Your attention feeds them. For 7 days, run a simple play. First, take a screenshot of your screen time. Delete the 3 apps that drain you most. Charge your phone outside the bedroom. Use a simple alarm clock. Phone off by 9 p.m. Phone on only after your first win. Workout, deep work, prayer, or reading. Block 2 focus windows of 60 to 90 minutes each day. Protect them like real appointments. Put them on the calendar. Then audit your circle. Text 1 clear boundary. Text 1 thank you to someone who feeds your flame. The promise is less chaos and more control. A quiet pride that you can trust yourself. The scoreboard is invisible until it is not. Give this 7 quiet nights, and your mind will feel different. Picture a small flame inside a glass lantern on a windy night. The wind pushes. The glass shakes. Every crack steals oxygen. The flame bends and shakes. You cup your hands around the glass. You find the leaks and seal the seams. One by one the gusts lose their bite. You set the lantern on a clear table, away from clutter. The light grows steady, not bright for show, just strong enough to see the next step. Calm strength in a small circle of gold. Attention is oxygen. When you protect it, the flame stands taller. With the flame steady, what brick will you lay tomorrow? Some nights I lie in a dark room, phone glow breathing on the nightstand. For years I believed talent would save me, or a lightning burst of inspiration, or the perfect plan drawn in neat lines. Mornings came, and regret followed quiet behind. No one saw it, but I felt the sting. Then a softer truth kept returning. The days that moved me were boring, small, uncelebrated. When I kept one tiny promise, my self-respect rose. Discipline is love, boring builds brilliant. The scoreboard is invisible until it is not. So tonight I ask myself with the lights low, will I lay one perfect brick tomorrow, even if no one sees it? I lived in sprints. I burst, then stalled for weeks. The alarm rang, and I hit snooze. I scrolled. I told myself life was busy. I told myself I was not gifted. That was easier. Then the shame of starting over crawled back, heavy. I watched naturals glide. Their steps looked light. My feet felt made of mud. The algorithm pulled me like a tide. One video, one laugh, one more scroll. Attention leaked in little drops until energy was gone. Tomorrow, I said. Later, I said. After this, I said. The loop kept me tired and loud. In the noise, a stubborn whisper formed. Make a minimum you cannot break. 1 brick. Not perfect, just precise. 1 brick. A seed that does not ask for applause. 1 brick. I wrote it on a card and touched it each night. 1 brick. Every day, especially when I do not feel like it. I remember a cold, wet morning. The first alarm cut the dark. My shoes waited by the door from the night before. I had set them like a dare. The kitchen light clicked on. The timer sat on the counter like a small judge. I did not want it. My mood was heavy. Excuses lined up fast. Skip, make it up later. The old script begged me to crawl back to warmth. Be the thermostat, not the thermometer. I whispered that line and stood. Cold laces bit my fingers. Rain tapped the window like a slow drum. I set 20 minutes. Deliberate practice. No music. Just breath. Just work. The timer beeped and I wanted to stop. I opened a book and read 10 silent pages after the fatigue. Eyes slow. I finished the last line and felt a thin edge of peace. I marked a small box in my notebook. The pen scratched a tiny proof. Standards over moods. Identity over feelings. The body longed for the finish. I gave it one more set. 11 when 10 is the norm. No show, no post, just one more clean rep. The timer beeped again. The room was still. I looked at the calendar and drew one small line. I had kept the minimums. Then I added one. Something in me clicked into place. Not glory. Alignment. The window kept crying. My hands warmed. My mind cooled. Nobody saw it, but I did. I chose a different identity. Not the weather of my moods. The standard I set. Be the thermostat, not the thermometer. I tied who I am to what I do daily. One perfect brick is clear. It is small. It is within my control. It has a timer. It asks for my full attention. Then I add one extra rep when I finish. Health, skill, character. 3 dailies. Health is a move or sweat minimum that fits the day. Skill is focused practice with a clock running. Character is one hard rep, a tough call, an honest message, a small act of service. I track it where I can see it. A wall calendar, habit cards, a simple notebook grid. Rules keep me steady, never miss twice. If I can, do it at the same time. If the day feels low, do the minimum flawless and still add one extra. Protect attention. Phone out of reach during the brick. Timer blocks to guard the work. Consistency beats intensity. The scoreboard is invisible until it is not. I am done waiting for perfect days. This is my vow and my path. I lay one perfect brick every day, especially when it is boring. Your brick is not only for you. Your steady hand becomes shelter. Family can lean on it. Clients can rest under it. Teammates can breathe because you held the line. Attention is oxygen. Aim it. Aim it at the work that feeds a fire in someone else. For the next 24 hours, join me. Choose 2 non-negotiables. 1 health move. 1 skill practice. Pick 1 hard rep today. Go past the point you would normally stop. Block all distractions for 1 timed session. Put the phone out of reach or out of the room. Track it somewhere you can see. No posting. No applause. Just proof to yourself. Do 11 when 10 is the norm. Discipline is love. Boring builds brilliant. Your calm will spread through rooms you never enter. Your future self will thank you with a steady spine. Make it small. Make it clean. Make it today. Give me 1 day like this. Then 7. Let the invisible scoreboard catch up. A mason stands alone at dawn. 1 brick in hand. Mortar spread clean. The brick has weight. His breath shows in the cold. The trowel scrapes a low note. He presses the brick into place with a soft push. He checks the line with a simple string. The wall rises quiet and straight while the city sleeps. No crowd, no music, just standards. This wall will be a refuge when storms come. Be the thermostat, not the thermometer. As the brick sets, the night begins to plan the next day. Win tomorrow tonight. The bed becomes a workbench where standards are laid out. Shoes by the door. Timer on the counter. Which 2 bricks will you set before the lights go out?